Hi everyone, welcome to this new livestock update in which I will be telling you some stuff about the fish in my tank, my corals and some things that are related to that. There's two questions that I regularly get on my channel, and those are how do you keep your sand clean and how do you keep your flow evenly distributed when you have a mix of both hard and soft corals, so LPS, SPS, soft corals, all kinds of corals mixed together. Let's start off by the first question about the sand. As you can see, my sand is relatively white and there's not a lot of algae or cyanobacteria on the sand. There have been times when there actually was a lot of algae on my sand, and I'm going to tell you about the way I got rid of that. One of those things is to have proper flow in your tank, which I will be covering later. But one of the most important things for me was to add a sand sifting fish, which is cleaning actually the whole tank and all the sand in my tank. I'll zoom in on it right now. It's right here. This is the fish. It's Valenciana sexcutata. Pardon me if I'm not pronouncing it right. And this fish single-handedly keeps my tank clean. As you can see, it's moving over there. Yeah. It's taking large bites of sand, as you can see right now, and then just sifts it through his mouth and blows it out again. Let's see if he takes another bite. He's a bit camera shy, I think. Yeah, he's doing it again. Well, actually, this is what he is doing all day long. So actually, the whole day long, he's just taking big bites of sand and filtering it, thus moving it and making sure that there's not a lot of dirt in or on it. And that's actually the main reason why my tank is so clean, because this fish single-handedly filters all the sand in my tank. So I really love this fish. I'm so glad I bought it. One thing you need to take into account when you buy these fish are actually two things. The first one is that you need to have a decent amount of sand in your tank for it to be able to live long and prosperly. The second one is that he probably will be making a lair for himself. Well, that's no different in my tank. The lair is actually right there. As you can see, he's gobbling up sand and making a big pile there. Actually, beneath this piece of rockwork, that's where he lives. So as you can see here, it's building up a nice layer of sand. Here's one of the entries to his lair. And that's how he... Look, he also throws some sand up here. Hey, there he is. Hiya. What are you doing? Huh. He's a bit shy, like I told you. Look. There's another fish, which doesn't show itself a lot in the day. So nice, we got him on camera there. So yeah, that's really the answer. Buy one of these fish if you really want a nice clean sand. And they're not expensive either. I think you can get them for around $15, $20, $25, depending on the store where you buy them. So it's not a big investment and you will have a lot of benefits from it. You can also buy them in pairs, but unfortunately I bought two, but the first one withered away within a day, and no, the other one just kept living and growing. The second thing is flow. It's important to have good flow in your tank. I'm having a gyre, and my gyre is set on a forward pattern for about 70%, which then switches to a backward moving pattern for about 30%, so it's moving back and forth. So it's not a continuous flow. As you can see right now, it's giving its flow, and it will stop in a few seconds. Then the water will be calm for a while, like now. It will start moving backward for a bit. You might see it on a soft coral right here, that's moving a little bit differently. It's doing it right now. Well, it's hard to see. And then afterwards, look, it's picking up the forward flow again. This is very important if you're trying to keep fish that are not adapted to high amount of flow, like these dragon face pipefish I'm having. I'm having a pair of these fish. They're very cool, but they require low flow. If you give them too much flow, they'll just blow away in the current, or even worse, they will get stuck in your power heads and you'll be left with a stuck power head and a dead fish. So that's not something you want. I've had these dragonface pipefish for quite some time. I've had one for about a year and then the other one for about 3 months now. So they form a really nice couple, although one of them is currently missing in action. I'm not seeing him around actually, but he's definitely there. Maybe we'll see him later. Another fish that I want to give an honorable mention to is this fish, the Foxface, as we like to call him. He's a little small. Yeah, here he is. Yellow. You have various sorts. You have the Magnificus, which is more white grayish, and you have this one, which is yellow. It's why do I want to give it an honorable mention, you might ask? Well, that's because it's really a nice algae killer. So whenever you have nuisance algae, this bad boy will take care of it. I had some on my rocks which I couldn't get rid of, nuisance algae, and this fish single-handedly just nipped it away. As you can see, it's constantly looking for little things to bite, grab and eat. And they're quite easy fish to keep, so they'll eat whatever you feed them, mysis, krill. Then, more livestock. Next we'll be covering some corals. One of the corals I bought recently is this Euphyllia. It's normally what you see with the Euphyllia is that it contains various heads, so they form heads which are close to each other, which make it seem like one whole piece of coral, but they're actually little heads all mixing together into one beautiful coral. And this one has just one head, so it's a wide skeleton which which boasts only one main piece. So the downside of this is when it dies, it will die completely, whereas with other Euphyllia, when there's one head that dies, you can just simply cut it off or break it off, and the other parts will live on. If this one dies, it will die completely, so I'll take good care of it. When you have one, make sure that it doesn't get too much flow, because they're easily damaged. As you can see, there is a flow going past it, but nothing too bad for it to rip apart or break. Some other corals that I really love are zoanthid, or as we like to call them here, buttons. I have various species in my tank, as you can see, varying in color: blue ones, red ones, orange ones, green ones. Actually, all the colors that you can think of, there's probably a zoa that's in that color. They're all featuring different patterns. As you can see, this green one here is having is boasting little speckles all over it. This blue one is more of a solid one. These one are called Sunny Delights or Sunny D's, which are beautifully orange with a green center. And then there's some other as well. One I also specifically like is these Lord of the Rings zoas. They have very big polyps. They are orange. They are pink with a green head, and they're just very beautiful and big, and I really like it. One other kind of coral which I really like, which I have gathered 5 of. As you can see them all in this picture. I'll give you a challenge to find them. I'll give you a minute. The species is called Goniopora. They are a soft coral, so a large polyp stony coral with tentacles emerging from the base. The base is usually not very big, and whenever you see it as in the store and its polyps are not out, then it just seems like a little piece of rock. But there are all little flowers inside that will come out when given the right circumstances, so enough light, enough flow. So from left to right, here's a red Goniopora. It's completely red. Next to that is it looks red as well. It's actually more pinkish when you, let me lower the brightness a bit. And well, you can't actually see it now very well, but it has green yellowish heads. You can see it a bit on the left, but whenever the polyps are waving out, then it's hard to see. Beneath that one is a purple one, which when I bought it, it had also had green inside, but it has been in my tank for I think 1.5 years now, and it's turned completely purple, which is okay. And then there's this one, which I acquired recently. It's a short polyp Goniopora. As you can see, compared to the other three, this one has very short polyps. But I also really like the color. Green-ish. And then the last one, which is this one, which is a purple pink Goniopora, also a short polyp version, which is also giving us a nice little look. Then let's discuss some fish. One of the premium fish in my tank, one of the fish I love most in my tank is the Copperband butterflyfish. This specific fish has been in my tank for just a little over 3 years now. So I bought it 3 years ago in 2014. In my previous tank, as a little small fish, just 5 centimeters long, something like that. And in 3 years it has become very big. It's the biggest fish in my tank. It's very friendly towards other fish. It also likes to eat a lot. So whenever I put in a small net with mysis and krill, then it will start eating out of the net itself. So it's very straightforward. It likes food a lot. So whenever I'm feeding it, it's right there, first one to eat. Really the boss of the tank. And yeah, as you can see, it's very huge compared to the tank as well. So I hope it doesn't grow much more, because it would be a shame if it started to outgrow my tank. So that's one I really, really love. I'm actually using a UV sterilizer, not specifically for this fish, but this is one of the fish that gets white spot easily. So by using a UV sterilizer, this fish has never gotten a big white spot in the past 2.5 years. So it's doing well, it's healthy, and it's moving around quite a lot. Then some other corals that I want to be sharing with you. A very simple Stylophora. It's one of the easiest corals I think you can keep in your tank. Even when your water parameters are not that stable, you can still keep it. And also this purple Gorgonian, which is actually a soft coral Gorgonian. So whereas most Gorgonians, which you see in the store when you buy them, they need very specific feeding. So you need to feed them phytoplankton, for example, to keep them alive. This one is actually photosynthetic, which means that that it lives by the light as well. So you don't need to feed it. It just grows by the light, and it sheds its skin every now and then. Then behind that, there's a big chunk of green star polyp. It started off as a really small piece, and then it just grew and grew and grew, and now it's taking over the entire backside of the tank actually. And I'll let it grow for now. It's a nice decoration to have on the backside. It's the covering up the coralline algae. As you can see, I don't remove the coralline algae from the back of the tank, as I think it gives a nice look to the tank. For me, it's not necessary to remove it. It does look a lot cleaner when you remove it. It'll have a nice even black background, makes the corals pop out even more. But then again, I don't really care for that, so I like it as it is right now. Then I'll quickly walk you through some of these Ricordia, which I have here, which have been there for a long time, so you might have seen them before. Orange ones, green ones. Then there's this Rhodactis, which also bought recently, and I really like this one. It has all kind of little flowers on top of it. So actually it's a coral with corals on it, so that's why I really love it. Picked it up for I think €10, so it was really a steal, and yeah, really into it. Then some more. Here's a bright red Rhodactis as well. Some orange blue ones. Ah, there's a nice fish. We have a nice selection of fish and corals alternating each other whenever they swim into the frame. So let's discuss this fish. It's a drumfish. Equatus punctatus is the Latin name in Latin. It can grow very large, so don't just buy it if you have a small tank. I bought it while knowing that eventually it has to move out of my tank. It will grow up to be 20 to 25 centimeters eventually. So yeah, it looks cute and small, but it will grow out to be a big drumfish. But then again, I really like it, and I'm glad to have it in my tank. Let's just fly by some of my plate corals. Here's a blue one. There's also a red one, which used to have pink speckles, but those have gone, probably due to lighting and water conditions. Here's a red blue one, a bubblegum chalice, as I like to call it, or as it's being called. It has little bubbles on it as well, as you can see right here. I really like this one. There's some Blastomusa. It's plain red, but still the polyps are very fluffy. That's what I like about LPS corals, when the polyps are showing some nice expansion. There's a small fish here, top of the green buttons, as you can see. A Salarias. Just looking at what we're doing. Two Evansi Anthias, the pink yellow fish in the middle. I used to have 5, and then 4, and then 3. Eventually now I have 2. These two have been together for quite some time, I think a few months. I really hope that they don't die as well. And I'm thinking of buying some more, because yeah, the two of them, I think they should be swimming in a nice school, so they should be there should be at least 4 or 5 of them for them to feel comfortable as well. So that's what I'm aiming for. One other Rhodactis that I maybe showed you before but didn't mention yet, it's a bright green one right there. It's one I really like. It's really toxic green, and that's also something, an eye catcher in the tank. From a distance you'll immediately see it. So then of course you might have seen my Duncan coral before. I've featured it in one of my previous videos as well. It's one of the prime pieces in my tank. Won't discuss it into detail because I already did. But yeah, it's looking beautiful, nice and wavy, enjoying the current. Well, yeah, I think let's wrap it up for now. Enough to talk about. Before you know it, we're already 20 minutes in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll continue to make more videos. If you have a video request, something you would like to see in one of the next videos, please leave a comment. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe. And well, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.